casual little thing. I was trying to do Sag because I was trying to like finally get to doing Sagittarius, Libra, and Taurus. I literally tried to record Sag like 4 times, and I'm like, something about this just doesn't. It's like it's just not flowing. It just doesn't feel totally right. So finally, I was just like, F it. It's like, clearly it doesn't want to happen right now, so we ain't gonna do it right now. So instead, I decided I was just gonna go live on YouTube and hang out for a bit, and who knows what'll happen. Maybe what is going on? Oh, it totally disconnected. Can you guys like hear and see me okay? Hold on. Live chat. That was so bizarre. I hope I'm like crystal clear and everything because it said that something about like the connection wasn't like stable. I can. Yes. Okay. Hello. Imagine. Hi. Okay, so did you guys catch anything in the beginning or no? Because now I'm like not sure if it was glitching out or not. Hey, Fola. I was just watching the weekly. Yeah. Hello. Hey. 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 No, you didn't. We can see you. Hey, did you cut your hair? No, it just curly hair does what it wants. This is just, I don't know, the result of what, 2, 3 days of not washing and wearing my bonnet. So it does what it wants. I didn't know you were live before this, so no. Okay, so I was having a weird time. I was trying to do Sag and Libra and Taurus, right? I was trying to finally get to those and I felt good. I took my time. I was going slow. I made my tea. And I tried to do Sag and I felt like doing a new approach, right? And it didn't quite feel right. So I was like, okay, I'll try again. I did Sag 4 times. And something about it just didn't feel totally, like it didn't feel just totally, right? And if a reading doesn't feel like that, to me, it's just a no. So after the 4th attempt, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just really not supposed to be doing this right now. And so I'm like, screw it. But I was like ready. I felt really ready. So I was like, screw it. I'll just go live on YouTube and like hang out a little bit. I was literally just thinking about going live, then I saw the live pop up. Oh, okay. Well, here we are. How's your new place? I love it. I love it. I do. And especially like the more I unpack things, I love it even more. And I am like so close. And I did a lot today. I probably have like, well, 3 core types of things to put away, and then it's pretty complete. Thank goodness. And my bed finally arrived. And the bed was delayed because of the holidays, so I haven't had a bed for like, I don't know, a couple weeks at this point. Um, Yesterday night, the veil is thin. My toddler saw something like other entities, scared my partner out. The veil was really thin last night. It was very thin last night. I was watching Hoarders. I can't watch that show. It gives me anxiety. Like I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Moving is tough. Yeah, it can be. It definitely can be. It can be. You look very happy. Thank you. I am. Again, I'm sad that like I don't know, the flow, like the messages were clear. It just something just felt I don't know. Something just felt not totally perfect, which like I'm not a perfectionist by any means. I'm not. I'm just not that person. I already have a lot going on in my head without trying to be perfect, right? Something just in me was just like, no. So I'm like, okay. And you all know that's hard for me because I know a lot of people have been wanting them for a long time and everyone's been super patient and I'm like so grateful and so appreciative. And I know I'm supposed to be learning to work in a different way. And I feel like that's part of it, right? Because I was just kind of like going to like my go-to. And I think that, yeah. And maybe I just had to come on here and just talk it out with you guys. And I am supposed to be working differently. I am. So, yeah. It's not the right time for Sagittarius just yet. Just finished watching the Patreon live. Having troubles falling asleep. Not going to sleep until after 1. Energy is definitely off. I've been having that too, which I think is honestly par for the course for a lot of people right now. especially for those who have been experiencing ascensions. Not everybody has been, but some people have. But if you've been experiencing ascensions, it's pretty common for your sleep to be whacked out right now. But also, we had really strong solar flares yesterday and the day before. I don't know if we had any today, but that would absolutely affect your sleep. And like I said, my sleep has also been a little wonky too the last couple of days. Oh yeah, Happy New Year! Happy New Year. Same, no sleep. I feel like we're still purging energy. Yes. And so actually that brings up something else too. So I did get a little nudge earlier today when I was putting stuff away to do a channeled message slash collective read, but I was such in flow of putting stuff away. And I'm a sacral generator. When I'm in flow, I'm in flow, and I need to stay in flow, you know? Mm. Actually, maybe that's why I felt the need to go live. I just realized. Speaking of purging energy, what was coming up earlier today actually was very similar to what came up in the Patreon live with the third group, and it was like anger. It was absolutely that anger that we were talking about. And yeah, sorry, so many things. So the anger, like the patrons already know, definitely a sacred, almost want to say righteous rage of being angry, of being violated. That's an energy that's been floating around for, I want to say, a good month or two, especially since Haumea has been in Scorpio. And that's what it's connected to. Haumea and Vesta being in Scorpio and being square Mars and square Pluto has been bringing up a lot of that, like, deep resentment and anger towards being violated or abused. And specifically in ways where we have had our own creative energy, sexual energy, our sense of physical safety compromised and taken from us. And that is also on a whole other macro kind of cosmic level of Mother Earth and the environment and the rage there of the, I almost want to say desecration of the sacred, right? But it is very much rooted in like the feminine, and also just our right to our own bodies, our right to creation, and also to sexual energy in the vein of creation, right? So it was interesting when that was coming up, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely the third group from the patron reading. And like I said, I kind of got that nudge to like come on and talk about it, but I was in such flow, I really didn't want to get thrown off from what I was doing. But I mean, I'm relaying it to you now. Yeah, the third group on Patreon was what I am experiencing to a T. And I have been telling my abuser for years, my anger is nothing more than hurt, righteous anger. Of course, being a narcissist, he ... Yeah, I can imagine. It's interesting. Okay. There's something tied in here, I think, too, with the Sag reading, and bear with me, because with the Sag reading, the same message was coming through all 4 times I did it. And basically it was like this very contentious situation that Sag was having with somebody. But I also was getting that for some people, this is actually in their career, like for people who work with sensitive groups of people, like people who are traumatized, people who are displaced, like social workers, therapists, counselors, teachers, things like that. Like dealing with people who have a lot of these like heavy emotions and trauma, right? But for people who wasn't about a career in that sort of a field, it was a personal relationship where there was like 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords, kind of contentious stuff. And Sag was just like matching that person's energy. So it was like stonewall defensive. Okay, I'm just going to be stonewall defensive with you. And then it just perpetuates, right? It just perpetuates. And nothing actually gets said. Nothing actually gets communicated as to why somebody was in that energy in the first place. And Sag was going through this moment of realizing like, oh, there's a different approach, there's a different way, and it is with kindness, and it's with love, and it's with purity, and it's with childlike play and silliness, and it's like really bringing like a very pure childlike state of unconditional love to the situation, to actually transmute the energy. And I think it is kind of like a full circle thing, or tied into some of this rage that we're talking about, right? Because like something that I was getting with the rage is like not spoken. like unspoken, held within, or dealt with alone, or dealt with behind closed doors, and like not having it be put out there, not having it be discussed. And so yeah, maybe this is also why it was feeling kind of off to me, because maybe spirit was like, we're trying to get you to do a collective message, not Sagittarius. Maybe that's what it was. Huh, kind of feels about right. It almost makes me want to pull cards now. um Last couple days, the anxiety and depression has been awful. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been feeling guided to join your Patreon, and you don't mention it much on here, so I'm taking this as my final nudge. Well, okay, so that's the other thing too, and my patrons already know. Patreon is shifting. It's shifting, and I also have been like wanting to take a couple days this week to really sit with the more logistical changes, because the way that Spirit's been having me navigate work and life right now is very much not logic. It's very much like from the heart. So dealing with like logistical things has been difficult. So I've been trying to like really be very intentional about the changes that I make on Patreon. So right now, I got the green light yesterday to do patron only readings on there. I feel like as of right now, the first tier is going to stay the same, where it's full moon, new moon hangouts and live chats, and all the live chats will be the first tier. And of course, the second and third tier have access to that. The second tier, right, like this last year has been early access to the sign readings, and also ad-free videos for all the sign readings, and early access to podcast episodes, and I may come back to that. We'll see. But the patron only readings will also now be for tier 2 and tier 3. And those will be as I'm guided to give them, because my team has made it very clear that it's time to cultivate the next cycle with our soul fam on Patreon. That's why we call it, we call us the Rainbow Tribe. But that's important. It's really important to do moving forward. And the third tier this last year was access to all of the part 2s, also ad-free, for all the sign readings. And I know that there's like a couple other new things that are creeping in, again, just being guided from my team. So again, that's why I've been like trying to be very patient with making the actual physical logistical changes, because of the pace that it's all happening at, if that makes any sense. But that's where things are at now, in this moment, with Patreon. Just saw the live, glad I made it on. Yeah, that third group hit me in spaces which unearthed necessary reflection, literally word for word accurate, of deeply embedded anger manifesting in anxiety. Yeah. How do you do that? The pure child energy, especially when something keeps beating you down. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, as I was getting in the Sag reading, it's like I could tell there were like anxieties and things coming up, even in relation to seeing that approach. And one of them was like the runner chaser dynamic. And like, even when I said it, I think that was the 4th time I did the reading, I was like, I'm not talking twin flame shit. Like, I know, like, God, it's so easy to freaking program the collective. It's insane. We have been so programmed to hear runner chaser, we think twin flame, right? Runner chaser dynamic is literally just like a codependent dynamic, right? And that's what was coming up as a concern for Sag. I think it was the 4th time I did it. Well, I'm just gonna match their energy because it's like I'm not taking the bait kind of mentality. But that's the thing. If somebody's in pain, it doesn't mean it is going to be that situation, right? Like, those kinds of taking the bait, mind game kind of situations usually come about in situations where people are really in their egos, really in an unhealed way, or they are narcissistic, or they do have codependency issues, and you would know if that's actually what you're dealing with versus somebody who's just hurting, right? Or versus someone who's just like feeling a lot and they like are having trouble even dealing with it or talking about it. Like, you should know the difference at this point. And if you don't, that's okay too. But yes, like making that clear as to what was coming up, like that's not something I'm advocating for. I'm not advocating for dealing with people who are abusive. I'm not advocating for people who are like playing out those dynamics over and over, because like then it is kind of a crapshoot, right? But like recognizing if somebody is hurting and they don't feel safe to talk, or they don't feel safe because of whatever is going on in their head or within themselves, that there is a way to soften that energy, right? And it is to approach with love. And that's the thing too. It's like they're either going to be receptive or not. And if someone's not receptive to your attempts of honey, of kindness, of joy, of play, then they're not. And then that just kind of is what it is. But the thing that was happening with Sag is there wasn't even an attempt. It was like, stonewall, I'm gonna stonewall. Right? And then that is an ego battle, right? Like that doesn't do anything, right? Just hearing you mention the runner chaser brings me nightmares. I know, even like when I said it, I was like, blah. I was awake for most of last night for no real apparent reason. My daughter was awake as well. Yeah, I was awake till like maybe 3. And that wasn't my intention. There were things I had to do. Like I had to like put my bed together, and then I was like, oh shit, I haven't eaten all day. Let me eat some food. And then I tried to sleep, and like, yeah, I was up for quite a bit. You're describing myself, Sagittarius, and my ex Gemini to a T. Like I said, that was coming up a lot, like repeatedly, and every time I try to do the Sag reading. I'm really trying to sit with spirit right now, like, is this why I went live, to like actually just relay this message or pull cards on this message? This whole week I have been awake until 2 or 3. I've been a night owl. I don't know what's up with me. It's just the shift of the energy. That honestly, like, it's just the shift of the energy, and just like roll with it as much as you can. I mean, I know depending on what you got going on in your life, sometimes we can't really be doing that, right? But try to roll with it, because the other thing is too, I've noticed when I'm up that late, it is also because information's trying to come through, you know? Hello, everybody. Wanted to hang out, open the computer, and here we are. Hello. Definitely watching Zoolander. Oh my god, that was so funny. Yeah, we had a whole Zoolander talk yesterday on Patreon. Oh my god, that was hysterical. Talk about a blast from the past, man. I need to get myself together because vacation is over starting Monday. That's the other thing too. It's like, I know everybody's starting to feel the like, oh shit, like we're getting back to our normal stuff after holidays too. All of my healing work is being tested big time. You know, that's another thank you for saying that, because the second I read that, it was like I got a little ding, got a little ping. We have all worked through a lot of things. Okay. We've all worked through a lot of things. And we don't really necessarily need to be picking at some of the same wounds. I think this is part of the message too, actually, of like this anger and then how to approach people differently. That's interesting. Because again, like the concern that I kept getting with Sag and the Sag reading at the time was like, oh, I don't want to take the bait, or I'm not playing into that, or whatever, or getting into their own insecurities and fears and egos. But it's like, that's all old shit. It's old shit. It's like, right? I think plenty of us have worked through a lot of those issues many times over. And yeah, I want to say it's like, I think that's part of the lesson too, of try a different approach, because we've all worked on that. You've all worked through that already. Like that, it shouldn't even be a concern or a problem, because you probably aren't even around people anymore who actually do that shit. And if you are, you would recognize that, or you should be able to recognize that, and then you would know that it is a waste of your time versus someone who's just hurting or experiencing a lot. Are saying we are in for a rough day tomorrow for January 3rd. Agree, leaving the old shit behind. Yeah. I don't feel like we're necessarily in for a rough day. I mean, kind of what I was saying in the weekly, the thing that's kind of weird about the end of the week for this week is what Mercury is doing. Mercury's going into squares, where it wasn't earlier in the week, and it can create a little bit of confusion, and it can create a little bit of like mental activity and overwhelm that's not really necessary, but there's a lot of emphasis on being in the heart anyway, right? This is also why we've been taking the last year to master the mind, to have discipline over our own mind and our own mental space, and to operate deeper from within ourselves, and to operate from more of a true compass in our hearts, so that we don't get all up in here, right? I would say that's probably the only thing that's super difficult about the end of this week is that Mercury placement. Like going up into the mind for the end of this week is not exactly the most comfortable, just given the energy. The other thing that is potentially difficult is kind of the stuff I'm talking about now in relation to Vesta and Haumea being square Mars and Pluto while they're still in opposition. Oh, I guess that could be why people are going to say tomorrow is going to be rough, because Mars should be at like 10 degree. It should be exact in its opposition to Pluto. I don't think it's going to make tomorrow particularly difficult because we've been under that energy anyway. You know, um, yeah. And everything we're talking about here is that energy, which, like, as we're talking about it, right? It's like, what's the point is we have learned a lot, we've grown a lot, and we don't need to be playing into old patterns, because that's part of the shit that's been burned away that we've been moving away from anyway, right? Yeah. So I'm sure that answers your question. um, I've been so emotional being a Pisces sun. Oh, I can imagine. I don't know why, but I'm excited for 2025. I am too. I gotta be honest. I feel like I say that a lot. I gotta be honest. Um, I'm kind of over people like demonizing 2025. And I get it. It's a choice. I was talking to a friend about this last night, actually. It's a choice. These are also why we've made the choices that we've been making in these portals for like the whole month of December. And that's what it kept referring to, right? It's like you're either going to choose to shift your beliefs and how you see things and how you choose to maintain your internal peace or not, right? And with that has come some people moving into this elevated timeline and reality and some people not. But it's weird because we're still kind of coexisting in the same, relatively same physical space. And this is everything I was talking about too in the last live. So in 2025, everybody that I've been talking to who I know have been like making the same choices, like consciously, subconsciously, they all feel what I feel. Like shit's been burned away. Shit is lighter. Like it's not nearly as dense. And I am like so freaking ready. Like, I am so ready. Like people who are in that bubble group, so to speak, there's so much to be birthed and there's so much excitement, there's so much possibility and potential, and there's going to be so much energy to like really push us into it. Like it's exciting. That's exciting shit. That's exciting shit. Um yeah. Again, it doesn't mean that like there's not going to be awful things out there in the world. It doesn't mean that we're not going to be seeing awful things on the news, like how like recently, which I thought was kind of crazy. I don't even want to talk too much about it. Um, but when I saw like these like stories popping up on my feed, I was like, you know what? I'm not surprised this is happening. Like, I'm really not, because I feel like it's literally the reaction, right, to this walking through the gates, the reaction to the part of the collective that has made the choice for peace, made the choice for more ease and less struggle in this elevated timeline, and then people who haven't, right? And the part of the collective that hasn't made that choice, like this, that's what happens with the energy, right? The energy starts to manifest, gets more amplified, like the fear, the distortion, all of the stuff that is like trying to get burned away. For people who are holding on to it, it just gets amplified into the reality, right? Until people finally decide to stop making that freaking choice, right? Sorry, I'm getting passionate about that. I was getting a little passionate. Again, I'm not saying that like the reality is going to be sunshine and rainbows and unicorn poop. Like I'm not like that's not what I'm saying by any means. It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. And from your state of being and your state of mind, you shift the energy around you to match you, right? The people, the physical environment, the choices you make all start to align to that frequency that you're holding and you're carrying. And people who aren't there can't be around you. People who vibrate in a different way just can't hang, you know? Um, so yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like the stories that come out, like, are tragic. They are, and it is unfortunate. And I wish it like wasn't the case. But again, you guys know how the reality works. It's like there's also something really bizarre about it too. And that was something else I couldn't shake. Like, you know, when these stories come up, it was like, you can feel it in your body. Your body tells you, right? When something feels off or kind of glitchy or bizarre, like, you know what I mean? Again, like my heart goes out to all of the families affected by these events that have taken place in the last like 24, 48 hours. Um, or people who had to bear witness to some of that stuff, you know? Um, but it is absolutely a reaction to the collective that is still holding on to all of those beliefs and views and frequencies and fear and distortion. And it's like, and that's just what happens. It gets amplified. When these divergences happen, that's what happens, right? So it's unfortunate. Change is afoot for sure. Change is good, of course, but can be turbulent. Yeah, let the transformation continue worldwide and individually. Yes, yes. December was a month dedicated to detach from loss in general, whatever the contrast life threw at me. Yeah. And that's very Pisces. That's very Piscean. And with the North Node moving into Pisces, that will absolutely be part of the lessons. But it's like, but loss, like that, you know, another way of looking at loss is just another way of looking at detachment, right? Because you can only lose if you're attached, right? If you're detached, is it a loss or is it just change? It's just change at that point, right? This is what Saturn and Pisces has been preparing us for. This is what Saturn and Pisces has been teaching us. So for those of us who've made these choices that I keep referring to, we've really been learning those lessons of Saturn Pisces this last year, and it is making us well prepared for next year as well. And that's the thing too, like I was saying, like loss is only loss because you're attached, you're holding on, right? Some of the things that may be lost, which is really just things that are going to change. How do I want to say this? I want to be careful with my words here. For a lot of people, it's just going to be a change of convenience where we won't have access to certain conveniences potentially. And even then, that's not that bad, you know, but that's a perspective. That's a belief. And that's what all of this always comes down to. It's a choice of what you want to believe. And it's a choice of what you want to operate from. And it's a choice of how you want to maintain or regulate your sense of peace in any given moment. Again, this is not like a pushing love and light positivity bullshit. That's not what I'm saying, because it's like shit will happen because that's life, right? But we choose how we respond, right? Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's more I want to say, but it's also like, again, I could go, you guys know me, I could go on forever. The lights just came on outside. Oh, yeah, what an interesting day. I will still be live tomorrow for Aloha Friday, which I have been looking forward to for sure. A new generation is born from this time to 2039. This is a very powerful transition we're all in. Oh, agreed. Totally agreed. Change can make people uneasy, like you said. It's all in how you respond. Yeah, yeah. I told someone that I know where the universe wants me to do. Of you not on my path, we will have to go separate ways. Even if I love you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's like, okay, so something else I've been talking to with my friends about. Oh, hold on. The disappointment that can happen when like it's very clear that people are gonna like fall out of your reality, right? Just because of free will choice and all. And sometimes it can be very disappointing. Sometimes it can even be infuriating. Depends on who you are and what the situations are, but that's also par for the course too, right? I don't know. Just wanted to mention that a little bit because maybe some guys are dealing with that yourselves. I so feel you on this. Wait. What did I miss? Let me come back. It's been a long time since I was that optimist at peace. I hated 2024 and now I'm grateful. I feel you there. 2024 was like crunchy as shit. It was crunchy. And especially the last half, like the last 6 months of 2024 felt like it like dragged on. And in a weird way, I think we kind of needed that. Like we almost needed the time or something. But yeah, 2024 was a weird year. Actually, yesterday I was reflecting on how 2024 started for me. And it was off to a rocky start. And I don't know if like anyone else felt that way about your personal year. But I had surgery, unexpected surgery at the beginning of 2024, and I was like, well, this is like this is a very weird way to start whatever the next 12 months are going to be. Um yeah, it was just a weird year. Weird year. It is hard, but you have to find the light in the darkness. Yeah, it's so rough to have to detach from some of my adult children. We aren't in the same realms right now. Yeah, that's hard too. That's really hard too. When there's divergence in families, that's hard. It's hard. My 2024 was a tornado. It was too slow and hard, but didn't want it to go faster as I felt it was needed. Yeah, the time. Yeah, exactly. It's like the last 6 months, like it dragged, but it felt like the time was necessary. Um, oh, Diamond, I'm so sorry. Oh, kitty cats. I'm sorry. That's so hard. I'm so, I'm not, well, am I scared? No, it's like, I I do dread the day a little bit when Clyde goes. I just know I'm gonna be a mess. No matter how much I'm mentally prepared for it, I know I'm gonna be a mess. Um, Still hard to let those people go. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I'm detaching from my adult daughter as well. Yeah. 2023 was worse. I just wanted 2024 to be better, but it took me to death and rebirth over and over. Yeah, I've definitely been reflecting a lot on like the last few years, and it's like, I mean, words don't even describe the last few years. Really. I think for everybody, the last 5, 6 years, it's been a weird circus act, honestly, is how I feel a little bit. I feel like we've all been part of a really bizarre circus magic show, and we're kind of at like the closing end of that weird circus magic show. We're all kind of like, what did we actually experience? Like, what did we actually just experience the last 5 or 6 years? Right? Am I the only one that feels that way? I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way. It just went worse and worse, up downhill. The last 5 to 6 years resumed in 3 letters. What the fuck? Yeah. Different chapters. I felt like the inside of a snow globe, and I hope I landed in the right place. That's a good one. I like that one. Circus show. Yeah. Like, especially between whatever like our individual experiences have been and then what's been playing out on the global stage, right? It's like, wait, there's acrobats over there, but there's a tiger show over there. Wait, am I part of the motorcycle show? Like, it's like, wait, but there's fire. Like, it's like, right? I don't know. It felt so bizarre. I have definitely what? Oh, definitely been a clown for about 6 years. Pray for this new year, peace and light. Absolutely. Journaling has helped me immensely. Yes, same. I don't know if I mentioned this, but couple months ago? No, more than a couple months ago. Oh, time. Where are we? January? So maybe 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, I actually read through all of my journals. And I kind of needed to because I felt like I needed to like really integrate like the entirety of like what has been going on the last like 5 or 6 years, at least just for me personally. And it helped me a lot, but it definitely blew my mind. I was like, holy crap, all of that happened. All that happened. Yeah, journaling has been a saving grace for years now. It really has. Everything feels hella uncertain right now, but like it's supposed to. Right, it's supposed to. Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's supposed to. Or like, was it a flying monkeys act? Yeah, right. And then like I'm not I'm not a huge like news watcher. Like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people like to watch it every day. Some people like watch like, in spurts or what have you. But there have definitely been times when, and I've heard other people say this too, where they felt like they were watching like a reality show, right? Or they were watching a TV series, when they were watching the news, and it's like, oh, this is the season finale. Let's see what the season premiere is gonna be like. Like, you know? Crazy. Just crazy. January 1st felt way more light. Yeah. Feels like a blank slate. That's how it feels to me too. I am very aware of what has been burned away and dismantled. Like, very aware. Which is why it's exciting and liberating. And again, just light, right? I did that yesterday. I'm like, shit, I'm done all right and still standing. Ugh, news. I feel like we're sitting on the plane about to deboard. Oh, I love that comparison too. That's a good one. That's a good one. About to deboard, getting our Ubers, and all meet up at the hotel and hang out and have a drink or something. Get going. Yeah. Both you and Clyde have been consistent in my life since 2020. Well, happy to hear that, Colin, and happy to also offer that support. And as much as I know words, I'm sorry. As much support that has taken place here, from me to you, also you guys to me, has been just, I mean, obviously life-changing. Life-changing, and has kept me, yeah, grounded. Well, wasn't always grounded, but like some semblance of groundedness too. And I mean, I've said this before. It's like anyone who does this kind of work, like, it's fulfilling because you can like show up for people, but it's also fulfilling because at the same time you learn a lot too. And it is an exchange. It's an exchange, right? So thank you. I'm just so grateful. I'm full of so much gratitude for the last, like, however many days. I don't know. Again, time is weird. You have me understand that I'm not insane. And that's a big thing too. It's like in 2019, when I went through my first ascension, I mean, just remembering some of the experiences I had, right? It's like, it could be really easy to feel crazy. Like, so easy to feel crazy. And I think that's also why this has been such like a rock for me too, because it's like I could tell I was experiencing, and you guys resonated, because you guys were experiencing the same stuff, right? And so I think everyone kind of everyone's needed this. Everyone's needed this to some extent, to just not feel crazy. Finally joining Patreon, you are a blessing, and I'm in gratitude for you. Well, thank you. That's when I found your channel, 2019. Yeah, 2019 was a year, man. 2019 was a year. I would say of all the years, 2019 was the best so far. But I think this one might be better. This one might be better. Have you made a video explaining what BOMISpirit means? I never knew the reason for the change from WaterBaby. BOMISpirit is body, mind, spirit. Excuse me. So there's a little story there. So I'll go into a little story time. So when I made WaterBaby, I would say for a good few months, I kept getting this like nudge of an idea, but it wasn't like fully formed. And so like I was trying my hand at like this other idea, and it just wasn't coming to pass. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like put this on the shelf for right now. And then after I started WaterBaby, BOMISpirit just came to me. It just, as body, mind, spirit, it just came to me. And I knew at some point there was going to have to be a shift from WaterBaby Tarot to body, mind, spirit, and what the concept of that was / is. Again, it's been morphing a lot over the years, because I think it's needed a lot of time to take shape in what it needs to be. And even now, it's like I'm very aware too that like with the channel, it's been mostly tarot and astrology, and it's mostly stayed that way. And I think because it's just a timing thing, you know. WaterBaby Tarot, I remember the water intro. Yeah. Words. Hold on, words. Yeah, the concept of what I had envisioned BOMISpirit to be is beyond what we have right now. But that's because it's still taking shape, and that's okay. And that's okay. Um, it's interesting too because like people have like this is like such as just a human behavior thing. People have really wanted like explanations of that, and it's like the intricate workings or understandings of that, and like what it's supposed to be, and all these things. And it's like, no, it's still taking shape. It's still taking shape, and that's okay. It's like I never. Okay, a lot of you know, like before this, I was not even like a big YouTube watcher. I do this all on my own. I don't have a social media ambassador or anything like that. I didn't watch videos or take courses on YouTubing or anything like that. I just was guided to do this, and I dove in and I just tried it out, and I just been learning a lot along the way. But when it comes to like branding, that's nothing, that's like I've never looked into branding or researching or anything like that because I just didn't feel drawn to it. And that's cool for people where they feel that, but yeah, I don't really even look at it as a brand. Like I know it is, but I don't look at it that way. Um, and at the time that I changed, it just felt like it was time. It just felt like it was time. So I did. So at the same time that I had made WaterBaby, as far as like the domain rights and everything, I also made one for BOMISpirit, and it was probably like 2 or 3 years until I even used it, you know? I thought Bomi was where Clyde got his name from, honestly. No, no. Um, it was refreshing rebrand. Well, thank you, Christian. I appreciate that. A lot of people just felt confused by it, and I was like, and I won't lie, like there was a part of my own ego that was like, oh fuck, like am I making a mistake? Like is this wrong? And like da 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 da. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna leave it alone because it's just like it just is what it is, and I was guided to do it, and that's just how I operate. And so I just like leaving it in God's hands, essentially. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I said, things are still taking shape. So who knows what's to come in the future with all of that. Um, yeah. And WaterBaby just came because I love water, and I am a water baby. That's honestly where it came from. And I have a lot of water in my chart. So that's honestly how I came up with the name. It just that was it. It wasn't anything, it wasn't anything fancy. I love water. I belong in the water, and that's what it was. I've changed names so many times, stuck with Oddworld, but I feel the need coming to change. Yeah, it's interesting you guys are bringing it up because I kind of feel it too a little bit. Um, Island Turtle, WaterBaby, BOMISpirit. Yeah, Island Turtle was given to me by a mentor of mine, by a teacher of mine in ceremony. That's why I started using it. It wasn't a name I gave myself. It was a name that I was given. Um, I like it that you went with the changes and made the transformation and changes more real with the new names. Thank you. Um, hold on. 2024 God Source Universe. Just say you're dragging your feet too much. We need to speed up the work. Hold on. Let's see. Wait, what did I think I missed something from Zay. Oh, God bless your BOMISpirits, everyone. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Um, yeah, it's been an interesting journey for sure. For sure. And like I said too, there's been so many visions and ideas over the years that I knew I was gonna have to be very patient about for the right timing, the right people, and even for myself to be the version of myself that would be ready for changes to come in the future. Just with things that I do and things that maybe you may never even hear of or know of, you know? Um, so it's interesting we're just talking about all this right now. It's just interesting. Change and improvements are creative endeavors need to be able to expand and evolve. Yeah. Um, all the names are great, but I guess WaterBaby was how we first met you. Yes, I get it. I get it. And it is funny too when I like run into people, you know, when I'm like out and about in the world and the different names that people decide to use, right? I think there's something interesting about that because like I've had all these names like WaterBaby, Rodent, Island Turtle, etc., and then BOMISpirit, right? Um, and so it's just interesting like what name really resonates with some people. Like that's kind of interesting too. And Rodent is one that I definitely felt for a time, but I feel like I've definitely very much evolved out of that one. Um, yeah, that was an interesting time too. That was interesting. Hold on. WaterBaby forever in my heart. Oh, there is something about that one. There is. And like, even when I hear it still, like it makes me go, like, you know, it feels like a lot of endearment, you know, or nostalgia or something warm and fuzzy gets evoked in me when I like hear it or read it, you know, in comments. WaterBaby forever. You guys are hysterical. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this conversation got really interesting real quick, didn't it? It reminds me of Hawaii times. Oh, Hawaii. Hawaii's been on my mind actually the last couple days. Speaking of energy still moving, right? Before I went live with my patrons yesterday, I was like racing home to like get on the live, and my team's like, no, go sit down and go ground. And I was like, okay. So I went outside to ground. And I had a little cry, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And it was about Hawaii. And I was like, oh yeah, Hawaii. I've been feeling Hawaii, and I'm also wondering if it's the Haumea connection too, astrologically. Hold up, Rodin isn't your name? You really are Scorpio through and through. So yeah, Rodin's not my real name. No. Rodin was okay. When Rodin came about, I was working a lot with Ra. I was working a lot with Ra at the time, and really learning to embody that archetype and that energy. And at the time, I also was working with Odin. Hi, Bubby. And again, I felt like I needed a little bit of a name change, but I didn't want to change the actual numerological vibration of my real name, of my birth name, I should say my birth name. And so I came up with that one with Rodin, because it actually is vibrationally the same as my name, my birth name. I'm mind blown. I thought your name was Rodin. Gotcha. WaterBaby has a dolphin vibe. Oh, and dolphin's definitely an aspect of self for me. WaterBaby, excuse me. Dolphin is definitely a very strong animal aspect of myself. That's so funny. You guys thought that was my real name. Wow. I had no idea. Hold on. WaterBaby mama. No, because I've been here since 2019 too. I'm shocked. What was crazy too is like there was a year or so there where people swore they started watching me in like 2016. Talk about a weird timeline thing, right? And I was like, oh, I definitely was not on here in 2016. Excuse me. A true Scorpio, of course. I don't know your real name. That's okay. You don't need to. You don't need to. You have plenty of names to choose from right now. You guys are so funny. Bubby, what do you need? What's up? It can't be food. Oh my god, speaking of cat food, so I finally got around to like ordering his cat food, and I tried to get enough for like a month's supply. I didn't realize how much I ordered. I am swimming in cat food. I literally have like 8 boxes of cat food. See how long it lasts. You have your own Mandela effect. So that's the other thing too, because because I am shamanistic, and I do quantum leap like through time, and like through timelines, not to mention all the dream walking and shit that I do, because like I mean, you guys, I know you guys experience time jumps as well, but also because of that, it's like, what I want to say, it makes it amplified, I guess. I want to say that the weird consequences of timeline shifts in my life makes it very bizarre, and relationships too. There have been times where I've definitely jumped the timeline, and then it's like, oh shit, everyone's a different version again. It's like, what the hell? Ooh. Hold on. I found you at the end of 2019. Or it's not my real name either. Hold on. Name doesn't really matter. The connection does. Absolutely. Do you also use coffee orders to try out how new names feel like? Oh, I'm not familiar with coffee orders. I think we're in a Mandela effect right now. We might be. Maybe that's also why I couldn't do the readings either. Like, that's definitely happened where I've like tried to do a reading and I can tell like something's like off with the energy, and I wait a day and then it's totally fine. And it's usually because something's in flux, so that could absolutely be the case. Maybe we should all have a secret name like Rodin. Why not? I mean, people try to do shit with names. I'm just saying. People try to do shit with names. I love you and Clyde. I pray that you never stop helping us. I can't imagine living a life where I'm not doing something like this. You know? Like, in some capacity. I just can't picture that. I can't imagine that. Sorry that I saw something. What's name vibrations all about? Could you bring a certain vibe by choosing a certain nickname? I'm just speaking to numerology, right? I just use numerology for that. Like putting a random name in to have them call you by when your coffee is done. Oh, coffee order. Thank you. I was like, I don't understand. I see. I got you. I've never had to do that because my birth name is really well, actually, people have messed it up, to be honest with you. I was gonna say my birth name is really easy. But my mom, for example, she's got a coffee order name because people struggle with her name. So I can't believe that didn't even clue in. I've been with you for only 2 names and I have a couple myself. You have helped me to shed and grow. Aw. It's fun to have an alias too. It is. It is. Sometimes you need an alias. For so many reasons. So many reasons. And people do legally change their names. And I do think there's something about that because if you are changing the name that you're operating from, you are changing the numerology vibration that you're operating with. And I actually really like mine, which is also why I'm like, I didn't want to, right? Like, I kind of want to stick with it. And there's also something too about changing, like your last name too, right? Like the ancestral vibration tie. Because even in numerology, we account for the last name because it is an ancestral vibration. It's a family vibration. So while it might not be unique and individual to your everyday experience, it still has an effect on you, vibrationally. This is very fascinating. It's fun to use a different name for coffee, but then I always forget what they call my order. It's so funny. I just never had to worry about that. My name is, my birth name is really common. Not common. It's really easy, but it's not super common. I always think changing my last name with marriage, I don't think I would. Yeah, if I ever get married, I'm keeping my name. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say never. Who knows? Because again, I'm not married. If I ever were to be married, I think it would also depend on who I was marrying. But I don't know. To me, it's also just so much paperwork. Like, it's so much goddamn paperwork to have to change your name legally when you get married. And it's like, I understand people when they get divorced why they don't want to change it because it's just so much work. It will come to you out of the blue one day. Wait. Never say never is a thing for me lately. It's just so true because like you change, people change. And you also, sometimes life has a way of surprising you. Bubby, what's up? Hey, you want to come here? No? Are you fighting me? What's going on? Hi. Did you just want attention? Or do you not know what you want? I think you don't know what you want. Little Clydester moment. You want to say hi? He's like, not really. What? Oh, buddy. Oh, maybe you did just want me. Are you over it? Yeah, you're over it. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. We get our dose of Mr. Clyde. I won't lie to you guys. I've been wanting to do Clyde videos, but he knows. He's too smart. Like every time he's doing something so adorable or just like so Clyde-like, I try to sneak, and the second I hit record, he stops. He like always stops what he's doing. I'm just like, I get it. I'm not supposed to be recording you for other people to watch. So cute. Cats are a sign for me. I mean, how could you ever be sad if you were around a cat, right? Like, I don't know. They're just magic like that. Do you play a musical instrument? I do. I mean, you guys can like kind of see. Don't mind the trash behind me, but you can like kind of see in the corner. I have drums. I have a ukulele, and I have a flute. I'm definitely more proficient on the drums than I am my ukulele or my flute. Excuse me. The ukulele I started learning when I was in Hawaii. And I just kind of fell out of my practice, just being totally frank about it. And I didn't learn a lot. I like learned a few like chords, you know. Excuse me, but I have actually been wanting to get back into it, so I might be doing that. Actually, and I actually know somebody who lives not too far from me who actually does teach ukulele. So maybe I might be doing that. What kind of cat is Clyde? He's so big. I know, he's a panther. I love it. And I swear there are times I look at him and I'm like, you're a bear today. Oh, you're a panther again. Like, he's just so striking. He's a Siamese, but Siamese are not typically big like him. Like, he's kind of an oddity in that way. They're like, Siamese cats are typically normal size. At first I was like, does he have like a Maine Coon trait or something? I don't know. Where did Clyde get his name? Oh, it was just his name. So when I adopted him from ASPCA, and the name they gave him was Mozart, and I was like, that's not your name. Like, I could tell, like, that's not your name. So I got him home, and I think it was the third attempt, and I just tried to feel it out. So I was like, okay, you're not Mozart. The first name I tried, it was like, no, okay, no response. Second name, I don't even remember the names. Second name, no response. And the third one, I was like, Clyde? And he's like, Meh. I was like, oh, okay, that's your name. It's like, I just felt it out. Just one of those magic moments, you know? Have you ever felt like a huge shift similar to Pangea wants to happen again? Similar to Pangea. I mean, Pangea is pretty major. I wouldn't be shocked if we're gonna have more earthquakes and like volcanic activity for a while until Uranus like gets settled into Gemini. Just because Uranus and Taurus just kind of evokes that. Not to mention, I think we're all feeling Mama Earth, you know, and all the Haumea energy in Scorpio, the opposite to Taurus, right, is also kind of shaky. Oh God, I didn't even think about that. When Uranus opposes Haumea. Oh, when Uranus opposes Haumea, that might bring some very crazy activity with Earth in that way. Similar to Pangea, I feel no, to be honest. I feel no. I think we're going to see some major things. I think we're definitely going to see some major changes to landscapes that we have been accustomed to seeing a certain way. I think that is definitely going to take place. But to that level, I don't know. Who's to say? I don't feel that, but doesn't mean I'm right either, you know? In your opinion, what's the best energy clearing spray to use? Candles and incense aren't allowed on boats. You can make your own out of essential oils. So this is a bottle I just keep reusing. And this is my cleansing spray that I make. And you can like use your own intuition with that, but I would just make it. I would make it instead of buying it if you already have certain essential oils. And you can always put like a little like quartz crystal in there or something like that to help. So the essential oils or herbs you can use, like sage, clary sage, is a go-to. Lemon's actually really nice. Rose is really nice. Lavender is really nice. Rosemary is important, I would say. Yeah, for clearing and like for bringing up the vibes, those are the ones that I would recommend to experiment with. I love rose water for clearing. It's instant with drops of agrams. Oh, very nice. Rose with the clear quartz in the bottle is my go. Yeah. That's what I would do. I would make it. And if you get a bottle like this size, it should last you a long time. Like quite a while. I'm trying to think what else. If candles, yeah. So I assume like no fire of any kind, obviously, right? No fire, no smoke. at my front door. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. Palo Santo. Another intruder. It was Amazon. I just, because I've got a window right here, and I saw like flashlights, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like someone trying to look at my like how. So just being cautious. It was just Amazon. Is there anything up at this time that's like uprooting stuff for people? Just had a very rough first day back at work. Oh, sorry, Amor. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, everything's cool though. Everything's cool. Thank you. You're welcome, Fola. You're so welcome. I'm trying to think what else as far as like little tips to give you, since you're gonna be in like I assume a shared space and probably also a very limited space. Actually, I think I've shared this with you guys before. So this is like my little mini altar that I have for my workspace. And I actually got it on Amazon, and it's like, this is actually what I got, and it's great because it comes with like a few little things to like hold like incense or things like that. Obviously I know you can't use incense, but it's big enough to have just like like, as you can see, right, it's big enough to have just like a little like crystal or figurine, or even like to put like a jewelry on, or to have your spray on. And it's nice because it just like is very simple and easy to clean, and it's like you can have like a little bag with it to put away. I really like that a lot. But yeah, as far as like your needs for like cleansing, grounding, protecting, bring up the vibes, I feel like spray is honestly going to be your overall best bet. We talked about medicine bags. I would highly recommend a medicine bag. You are going to be traveling quite a bit. Just being a little bit of a mama bear. A little bit. Medicine bag is a good thing. Or even a talisman, not a bad thing. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you're going to be fine. I feel like you're going to be fine. I feel that had a bad day at work and a terrible first date after. Oh, can we hear the story? I love it. I love a good story time. Can you tell? Especially when it's like a dating story. Because I feel like when we share our horror stories with dating, it just makes us feel a little less alone, and we all could resonate. And it's like, okay, when I'm traveling, I like peppermint oil to clear ickies. Yeah. Obsidian necklace and bracelets. Obsidian's great. Jet is great too. I love Jet. Can you wear the medicine bag in your pocket? Because I do not wear bras. Yeah, you can. You can. As long as it's just hidden is the only thing. You purchased a bag yesterday? Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. If you want to tell the story, Chloe, I'm just saying, if you don't, it's okay. I don't know. I think Clyde wants to hear it. Huh? Oh, Betty. Wait, let me see. Is your food? Oh my god, you do want food, huh? You want food? Yeah, he wants food. Okay. Chloe, if you're up for it, I want to hear it. Let me feed Clyde really quick, and I'm gonna be back. All right? I know, buddy, I know. I feel like Chloe is typing. Ah! Fingers crossed that she is. No. And also, no pressure either. No pressure. Aquamarine was used as protective talisman for sailors, by the way, good for traveling over water. I heard aquamarine's actually starting to become rare. I don't know if anyone's heard that too. But I think we're actually getting to the point where we're going to start almost over mining a lot of these crystals. I'm a crystal junkie. The hardest part of packing is going to be figuring out which stones to leave behind. Oh my God, I hear you. I hear you. When I was packing up my place and I was getting rid of stuff, I gathered all my crystals and I'm like, really hard to get rid of some of these. I think today's been an awful day for many. Yeah, I feel like today and tomorrow, it's like, these are like the couple days of people coming back to reality after holiday time. And I feel like it always is a weird feeling, you know? Not me about to sit down and journaling and someone said, something said, check YouTube. Yeah, we've been live for a bit. Serpentine's great for travels. Hawkeye is great for traveling too. Hawkeye's great. Moonstone is really great. Those are my favorites for traveling. And Jet. I think I mentioned that. I love Jet. Keep people's energy hella away from me. Especially negative energy. Been making massive bruises out of crystals. Today was definitely off and a surprise came about. Well, we like surprises. Mars and Pluto are fighting currently, no? Yeah, they are. They are. Hawkeye, didn't catch the name. Yeah, Hawkeye. You spelled it right. It's akin to Tiger's Eye. They're in the same family. I don't think I have any close by to show you. It's really pretty, actually. It's very like dark blue. It's nice. And it has a little bit of the stripiness that Tiger's Eye has. It's nice. Hawkeye is good. It's literally specifically for traveling. It's also good for the throat. It's also good for the third eye. But it is like, it's a really good protection stone for the most part, but it's good for communication and all of that too. So I like it for the protection aspect. Happy to see you just watch the weekly. Yeah. My first day back to work and definitely had to pull myself up. Oh, not productive, that's for sure. I feel like the first day back at work, like just flashing back to when I worked in an office in corporate land. Oh my God. Coming back off of a holiday, it was like chugging coffee, catching up on emails, and doing the bare minimum because I could just barely tolerate being in that environment, you know? And such an adjustment. Such an adjustment. Where do you get your crystals? I've kind of collected crystals from all over the years. I couldn't tell you everywhere where I've gotten my crystals from, to be honest. Added to my long list of stones to buy. Oh, the Hawkeye? Yeah, Hawkeye's great. Love Hawkeye. And Hawkeye and Moonstone are also great together because Moonstone helps regulate like cycles and homeostasis and is good for intuition and emotional regulation. But that's also why it's good for traveling because it is about the fluidity of like cycles and movement. So having Hawkeye with Moonstone just really helps to keep one very solid, especially if you're a water sign or a Cancer rising like me. When traveling, both of them together are great. I used to wear amethyst all the time and I like shungite. Shungite's awesome too. I love me some shungite. I wish it wasn't so expensive, but I do love it. And crying, don't forget crying. I've worked at a crystal shop for like 5 years now, and we have a bag we put together for physical healing with those 4 stones. Oh, very cool. Thank you for the recommendation. For the pain, I think, yeah. I'm having horrible car issues and have to commute hours to work. Ooh. I actually would recommend trying to do energy work on your car. Like, cars hold so much energy. So much energy. Even if you just like go into like clear it or sage it or smudge or whatever how you like to clear, like even just to get some energy out, and you may be shocked at what happens. Not saying it would fix your problems, but you never know. After a long moldavite kick, I'm now wearing a lot of hematite. Dude, moldavite's like not one to mess with. I mean, there's been some like crazy little bumps, you know, with this whole move, but I remembered it had to be October. maybe November. And I know it was in a video where I was like, oh, I felt the need to wear moldavite, and I'm kind of freaked out. I don't know why that is, and I feel like I need to wear my moldavite. And I was going through the crazy ups and downs, and I'm like, oh shit, I worked with moldavite recently. I was like, oh crap. Like, for those who never worked with moldavite, oh my god, moldavite will shake your shit up, man. Like, moldavite, first of all, so high, like high frequency, that if you actually work with it too much or wear it too much, like your head will start to hurt, your body will start to hurt. It just brings in so much energy. It's so volcanic in nature. But then at the same time, it helps to shift karmic energy. Like, and it also is like used for awakenings, but that's also because it shifts karmic energy, right? So when I say shift karmic energy, for some people that is like an entire life shakeup. Some people that will like shake up a relationship or your job or just like make life a little chaotic, but like you will definitely be a different person after wearing moldavite or working with moldavite. It's definitely nothing to mess with, and it is not subtle. It is not subtle by any means. I'm struggling with choosing the correct crystal to wear during these energies. Just feel into it. You know, just feel into it. And if you're never sure, quartz is like a universal all-encompassing stone. If you're never totally sure, you know? I accidentally stepped on my moldavite not that long after I got it, but it still worked well. Did you break it? I mean, I guess depending on the size of it, I'm like, you know, malachite bracelet and hematite. Oh, that's a nice combo. That's a good, cool combo. Yeah, I don't fuck with moldavite too often. And with that piece I was wearing, I couldn't even tell you the last time I wore it. It's definitely one of those that should come with a warning label, honestly. Wearing moldavite and moonstone on my neck, a moldavite ring on my left hand. Ooh, a quartz David star. That's cool. Piece of it broke. It was small and expensive. Yeah, I like moldavite's so expensive. So expensive. Definitely worth it to have a piece in your inventory when you need that energy, but you shouldn't need that energy all the time either, you know? Aventurine, hematite, and amethyst I keep by my bed. I've been working with a lot of rose quartz. A lot of rose quartz. I kind of have it like sprinkled around everywhere. Just like keeping that energy of love, just and serenity, just kind of sprinkled all around me. I have moldavite incense. Whoa. But I have no idea how that's even supposed to work. I'm like, yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Like, oh, you know what it probably is? They probably have like moldavite infused water or something or oils, and then they use that on the incense or dip it or in the dipping process. That's my guess. That's my guess if it's like a legitimate thing. I thought that if crystals break, it's time to let it go and it's done its job and supposed to toss it. I don't think necessarily. I think you know for sure if a crystal's really done. Like if it shatters into a billion pieces, it's probably done. You know? But my smoky quartz has had a couple chunks taken out of it, but I love working with it still. She a little beat up, she a little battered, but you know, still very effective. Yeah, I think it depends on the nature of the break. I remember my dad actually told me this story. So he actually had crystal hanging in his car, like on the rear view mirror thing, and he swears up and down that he was in his car one day driving, and it just exploded for no reason. I totally believe him because I've seen that shit happen to me before. Not often, but it happens. I when a crystal's done, it's done. You know. I was so sad when I lost my citrine. Oh, citrine is yummy too. I love citrine. I've broken plenty of crystals after the first use. I just polish them down and keep it pushing. Yeah. Because like, you know, if they're still relatively intact, they're still relatively intact. No need to like throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know? My selenite pillar has gotten pretty hydrated and cracked, but she's still holding strong. Yeah, it ain't over till it's over. Also, okay, this is totally random. I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys tonight. Totally random, but what night was this? Oh, you know what? This was New Year's Eve. So when I got home, I ended up watching a movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I ended up falling asleep, but like, there's just like some movies that are just so like, I don't know, just like so perfect for what they are. I watched Moonstruck, and I was texting someone at the same time. And they were even like looking for a movie to watch. I'm like, oh, I'm watching Moonstruck. It's so this and it's so that. And I realized, because it's kind of on the older side, that probably a lot of people have never seen it, which like also kind of breaks my heart. I don't know why I feel the need to bring this up. I'm just being a little ADD right now and just sharing with you guys. He was a wolf, yes. I've seen a wolf in anybody I've ever met, and I see a wolf in you. God, I love that movie. It is like, it is so New York. It's so Italian. It's so late 80s, early 90s. Yes. And Cher is just, I think she won an award for that movie. And Cher is just like at her A game in this entire movie. And then, playing opposite a very like overzealous, passionate, like Nicolas Cage, right? Who's very Nicolas Cage in this role, I have to say. It's just so good. If you've never seen it, it's so worth watching. And it is a romantic movie, but like there's just so many little perfect like one-liners that are just like, yeah, that just make it really fun. And sometimes you kind of forget it's a romance because of these like little one-liners and little like side relationships and plots going on. It's really good. It's really well done. And every time I watch it, it just kind of takes me back to like New York vibes, and even just that era and that time. Yeah, speaking of time, yeah, it's a timeless movie. What's it about? It's about a romance. It's about Cher and Nicolas Cage getting together. Um, but it's good. It's good. And something else, I think there is something about this full moon, because it's called Moonstruck for a reason. The moon is a huge theme in this whole Bella Luna. Yeah, the moon is a huge theme in this movie too. And I keep getting little like full moon synchronicities. So I'm wondering, maybe this is why I'm mentioning it to you. Maybe there's something in there for the collective regarding this upcoming full moon. I feel like I want to get into the astrology for the full moon. Um, there's a lot of things I want to do, but again, I'm like aware of needing to flow differently. I swore I saw a moonlight last night. Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I know it doesn't make sense to have seen moonlight, but last night I was up late taking care of the bed, right? So I like had a lot of trash to throw away, and I swear to God I saw moonlight too. And I'm like, no, that's got to be something else, because that just doesn't make sense. Because that just doesn't make sense. And I just walked back into my place. So I don't know. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. I'm highly empathic, so when I go to funerals, I have a sack of every gray, black, red, and brown crystal I own in my purse. Oh, interesting. There was a slither of moon last night. I saw it too. But what I saw was bright. Okay, there's something about Moonstruck, because that was another part of the moon theme, is like how ridiculously big and bright the moon was. And like how captivating the moonlight was. No, there was a sliver of moon last night. It was bright and blue sheen. Okay, so maybe I'm not, okay. I'm gonna rewatch Moonstruck tonight. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, watch that movie. It's good. It's very, very good. I don't even know where you could stream it, because I'm pretty sure it's from like the late 80s. But it's worth it. Maybe this full moon will be like the Moonstruck moon. Maybe everyone's gonna be falling in love with each other left and right. Just like so, intoxicated with love and the craziness of love. Roku? Oh, it's on Roku? Oh, okay. I don't have Roku. Mm. Feel better? Bubs? Yeah? Okay. Good. I'm glad you feel good. Yeah. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's free on YouTube? Okay, well, there you go. Because it's one of my favorites, I actually like own it. Like, you know, a movie is your favorite when you're willing to buy it, you know? In this day and age. Ooh. Ooh, I'm gonna take that as my sign that I should probably hop off. And my tea is almost gone. But I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will try again to do Sag, Libra, and Taurus at some point in the next couple days. Today I just had a chunk of time, so I'm kind of disappointed it didn't happen, but it clearly wasn't flowing. Yeah, I gotta go. Love you guys. Have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Take care.